Today, we're going to look at Unit 8 Writing Description of a Place. Please open your books to the writing section of Unit 8. Today, we're going to learn how to describe a place. More specifically, we're going to learn how to describe where we live. So, we're going to be talking more today about habitats. And what is a habitat? A habitat is a type of environment you live in, like a desert or a forest. And in Arabic, we would call it bi'at. So, when wanting to describe our habitat or where we live, the environment we live in, there are a couple of questions that we need to answer. So, let's look at each one of them. The first one is, where do you live? So, do you live in a big city, in a small village, or a quiet town? Is the country that you live in small? Is it big? Okay, so these are some of the answers that you would put for this question. Number 2, what is the weather like in your country? How is the weather like in the summer? How is it like in the winter? Number 3, what kind of habitats are there in your country? So, are there deserts? Are there mountains? Are there seas? Are there forests? Are there grasslands? Those are the types of habitats there are, and you would need to decide what kind of habitats we have here in Palestine. The next one you would need to answer is to name some of the animals that live in each of the habitats that we have in Palestine. So, for example, we have mountains here. We have mountainous regions. Okay, what kind of animals would live in these mountainous regions? The next question is, which habitats are popular with tourists or with people? Where do people like to go most, hang out the most? Is it in mountainous regions? Is it near the sea? Is it in forest? Where do people like to go? And the last question is, why is your country a good place to live in? Why is it a good place to live in? So right now, I want you guys to look at the text that is in the book. It's on page 80. Okay, I'm going to read it to you and then we're going to discuss it. So this is an example of how to describe your country. My country's habitats. I live in a small village in a small country. Most of the year, it's really rainy here. Obviously, there aren't any deserts. In summer, it can be quite warm, about 25 Celsius. Unfortunately, most of the time it's cold though. It snows here every winter. There are forests and huge mountains in the center of the country. The rain creates hundreds of rivers and streams. There were bears here 1,000 years ago. Now the most interesting animals are birds. Sea surrounds the country on 3 sides. We have some beautiful beaches which are very popular with the tourists despite the rainy weather. Around the coast, there are farms, especially sheep farms. My country is famous for wool and meat. Luckily, I don't like big cities. There are a lot of things to do in the country. I can go horse riding and I can walk in the mountains. It's fantastic. Honestly, this is the best place to live in. So, looking at this text, does this writing answer all the questions that we previously discussed? Yes, it does. Okay, so if you look back to the first slide and you look through the questions, this text answers all the questions that we just talked about. So the next thing we're going to be looking at are sentence adverbs. So what is a sentence adverb? It is an adverb that describes writer's attitude to a statement. Okay, so these are some examples of sentence adverbs. We have luckily, unfortunately, fortunately, honestly, obviously, and clearly. So we need to look at each one to understand what they mean and how to use them. So here are more details over the sentence adverbs. We have the first one is luckily, لحسن الحظ. Okay, so here's an example. Luckily, I am always looking for ways to keep you all happy. Luckily, لحسن الحظ. So هاي إن تعطي رأيك لجملة قبل ما تبلشي الجملة. Okay, so luckily, I am always looking for ways to keep you all happy. The next one, unfortunately, لسوء الحظ. Unfortunately, I can't see you all when I'm giving you a lesson. Okay? So, هاي رأيي قبل ما أعطي الجملة. I can't see you all when I'm giving a lesson. هي جملة لحالها. لما أضيف unfortunately أنا بعطي رأيي قبل ما أعطي الجملة. So, أنتوا بتعرفوا مشاعري من هاي الكلمة. Okay? The next one, honestly, بكل صراحة. Honestly, I miss you all dearly. Obviously, يعني من الواضح. Obviously, I would rather be in class than be stuck at home for 2 months. Next one, fortunately, لحسن الحظ. Fortunately, this will all be over soon and life will go back to normal. And the last one, clearly, من الواضح. Okay? Clearly, learning in the classroom is different than online learning. There's no real interaction. So if you guys look at these sentence adverbs, you'll notice that there are 2 pairs that have the same meaning. They're synonyms for each other. Which 2 can you guys pick out? Which 2 pairs can you pick out? So you should have picked out luckily and fortunately. Luckily and fortunately mean لحسن الحظ. So تقدروا تستعملوا أي واحدة فيهن. It doesn't matter. Okay, they both mean the same thing. اللي هو لحسن الحظ. Luckily and fortunately. We also have what? Obviously and clearly. Obviously and clearly يعني من الواضح. So each one is a synonym for the other and they mean the same thing. من الواضح. So it doesn't matter. Anyone works in any sentence, they both mean the same thing. So now let's practice using these adverbs in sentences. Complete the following sentences with the sentence adverbs that we just reviewed. Let's look at the first one. I love shops, cinemas, and theaters. I live in the city. Blank, I live in the city. Okay, so I love shops, cinemas, and theaters. Do we find these places or these shops? Do we find shops and cinemas at a farm, at the sea? Where do we find them? We usually find them in the city. Okay, and because I love them and I live in the city, what does that mean? Okay, so we'll go back to that now. Let's look at number 2. A lot of birds live here. They like the climate here. Blank, they like the climate here. يعني إن في طيور هون. Okay. إن هم بيحبوا الجو هون. Okay. So if they live here, they must love the climate here. So let's see what the answers are in a little bit. Let's look at number 3. All my friends are going to the theme park on Saturday. Blank, I can't go with them. So if your friends are going, how would you feel about not going? So let's look at the answers right now. If you want to guess, you can go ahead and pause the video. If you don't, let's look at number 1. I love shops, cinemas, and theaters. Fortunately or luckily, I live in a city. Okay? لحسن الحظ, I live in a city. So I have all the things that I love around me. Number 2, a lot of birds live here. They like the climate here. Obviously, clearly, من الواضح that they like the climate here. And number 3, all my friends are going to the theme park on Saturday. Unfortunately, I can't go with them. So let's look at the next sentences that we have. Number 4, yesterday I lost my wallet. فراغ, I found it quickly. So يعني هاي كتير حلو إن الوحدة تلاقي ضفدانها بعد ما ضاعتها, right? So right now we'll look at the answers in a little bit. Number 5, I think that you're a really good cook. I think that you're a really good cook. Let's see. So رأيي إن أنتي شاطرة في إشي. So إذا بعطي رأيي إنك أنتي شاطرة أو مش شاطرة, okay? Let's see what the answer would be to that. And number 6, she doesn't like animals much. She has never bought a pet. يعني إن ممكن ما عندها or على الأكيد ما عندها حيوان أليف, okay? Because she doesn't like pets. So let's look at the answers now. Fortunately, or luckily, I found it quickly. Yesterday, I lost my wallet, and fortunately, luckily, I found it quickly. Number 5, honestly, I think you're a really good cook. Okay? بصراحة, I think you're a really good cook. So لما أنتي تعطي رأيك في إشي, hey, honestly. And number 6, she doesn't like animals much. Obviously, clearly, she has never bought a pet. Okay, عشان هي ما بتحب الحيوانات. هو من الواضح إن فيش عندها حيوان أليف. Alright, so girls, I hope that this is clear for you guys. For the homework, you have to complete workbook page 61, exercises 1, 2, and 3. And then you have to write a short descriptive paragraph like the one that you guys saw in the pupils book. And you need to use the questions that were in the slides before, okay? And again, you can look at the pupils book to help you out, plus the questions. You need to answer all the questions to be able to write a short paragraph. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. And this homework is due on Saturday, so you guys can take your time. And that's it. Okay, bye-bye.